The following production is part of the Play Some Video Games podcast network.
I say it's time we focus on what really matters. The games.
PlayStation.
Hello and welcome to the 8th episode of the PlayStation Experience podcast, PSVG's official PlayStation podcast. I am back from the land of the dead that I was stuck in last week. And my name is Seth. I should probably introduce myself. And welcoming this lovely morning from the snowy state of Michigan, we have Justin. How are you this morning?
Michigan sucks.
That it does.
The team, the NCAA basketball team, and the state.
Hey, now, anytime you get to the NCAA championship, is not a bad time.
No, that's very true. I was actually pleasantly surprised they made it that far.
So, and at least nobody called an errant timeout this time.
Yes.
And also from the great state of Michigan, we have Tyler Vidito.
Baba, Duke. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Yes, it is I, Tyler Vidito. Well pronounced, Seth. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you
you're
very
welcome. I listened last week, and I finally got the pronunciation right. It's said just like it's spelled. Surprisingly, it's said just like it is spelled.
A lot of people like to say Vidito, but then people start arguing that the TOW is, it's a tow truck, so Vidito. It makes sense. But then when I say it, people start spelling it TOE, and then once that happened once with a substitute teacher in elementary school, and then the kids are like, Tyler bit his toe. Now he doesn't. Now he doesn't have one, and all that stuff. And then it led to the whole joke that Tyler bit his toe. And it's like, I'm like 6'4". I have a little trouble getting that foot up to my mouth, let alone trying to take a bite. So
were you 6'4" when you were in elementary school?
I was probably pushing 6 feet. I was a very tall child. I'm
Okay.
not gonna lie. So I think evolution alone helped deny me cannibalism of my lower appendages. So I think I was safe, but the joke continued. Wow. Okay. So that left the crowd speechless.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I just feel bad for you.
Why? Because I can't eat my own toast?
As a child, you were made fun of for eating
Having
your
a last name that rhymed with Tyler
And,
his toe.
and then you were made to stand outside on the porch and watch your friends play video games.
Look, that was even sooner than that. Like, I suppose, like, I kind of have this humor, and this is very dark humor, mind you, that I look back at my childhood and the history, and listening to the Serial Chillers podcast, I kind of follow the outline of what would have made out to be like a notable serial killer. Like, there's some weird stuff that kind of lined up. Kid had to look inside and stare at 64 while somebody else played ocarina. Kids made fun of him for random things he had no control of. And all that stuff. Had to play the Xbox 360 for a year. I seriously could have became something much worse than what I am. And I'm very glad, I switched over to PlayStation 3 rightfully when the time was hot. And I'm here. I was corrected. I was saved.
Good.
By Kevin Butler.
PlayStation was your savior, is what you're saying.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Good to hear.
Oh, yes.
No, good to know. So, speaking of PlayStation helping you out and saving you, what have you been? That's not a good transition. What have you been playing this week?
I'm going to take your ball. You threw it at me. It was a little curved. I'm going to have to jump a little bit for it. Don't worry. I'll catch it. I'll catch it.
All right.
Seth, I'm not going to lie here. It was a heck of a week. Being in my new job as a truck driver has been a lot more demanding. I did get to play a little bit on the weekend because one of the things I noticed that if I sit in front of my computer, especially when my fiance has too much free time, she gets a little upset. As one could expect, fiance wants to spend time with you, and you're sitting there like, leave me alone, I gotta thieve cheddars from islands and stuff. But I end up playing a little bit more of Shadow of the Colossus, because A, I have not beaten that, and B, I've beaten most of the games I really wanted to play that was on the PlayStation 4 right now. I still got Burnout Paradise, but Shadow of the Colossus has been that one burning title that I have not gotten to complete it yet. Still haven't. And I realized that I don't remember disliking Shadow of the Colossus before. I'm not sure what happened. I realized that the person in charge of updating the graphics and whatnot did a great job, but I also don't remember swearing so much because some random technicality would screw me over from throwing a sword into a guy's weak spot.
Right.
I do remember being ragdolled around like crazy after hitting them and stuff, but heck, my main problem was there was the Leviathan in the water that has the back spines that were full of electricity.
Yep.
Yeah.
And long story short, you would have to build up so many times before it dove back into the water, where it would stay down so long that you would be forced to let go and go back up and start all over. And some reason for me, the AI was like, I don't want to come back up out of the water. And I was like, okay, can you please? Like, I started whistling, Egra! And my horse would, launch into the nearby coastline saying, I'm trying to come to you, Daddy. Please, I'm afraid of the water. But this thing would not come up. I couldn't shoot arrows at it. I was in the water. So whistling, fourth wall breaking, cursing didn't help. It was a very frustrating boss that took way too long. Mm-hmm. And maybe if there was different mechanics or ways I could set this up, I don't know. I did not have a good time with there's a couple other bosses I can go also into vivid detail about being thrown off in some random way, but it's nothing to go too crazy about. I'm not having fun with Shadow of the Colossus, unfortunately. Maybe if I came into the idea that I was a photographer and I needed to turn off like the HUD and just go around take pictures of these people, maybe I would enjoy it a little bit more. But I'm supposed to be slaying these guys, not putting them into beauty contests.
Right. It's all right. Hopefully, it doesn't color your overall perception or ruin the game for you, ruin your memories of it.
Yeah, throw some grayscale on my rainbows. I can see it doing that right now. I do know that there's bosses later in the game that I'll really enjoy. I think what freaked me out is because I had I had Amanda watching me, and I'm like, oh, this is one of the good ones I really like. And then that's the one I killed in 45 seconds. I'm like, oh, well, that was a very quick, fleeting experience I got to enjoy. But the ones I didn't like, of course, would take 20, 30 minutes to complete.
Very quick, fleeting experience I got to enjoy. Name me your sex tape.
Thank you, Seth. Yes, you are absolutely right.
What show? What show is that from? Do you watch it?
I don't think so.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That's what Peralta always says to Santiago whenever she says something goofy.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
So I wasn't just like I was referencing something. I wasn't just like making fun of you. So
okay, good.
That's what popped into my head.
That's awesome.
So
yes.
All right, Shadow of the Colossus. Working on it.
Okay, game. Having troubles accepting Team Ico's fine work.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of fine work, Justin, are you still exploring the land of Ding Dong Dell and whatever the other names of the lands are in Ni no Kuni 2?
Well, Seth, I'm a little disappointed because if you should know that, of course, I'm not exploring Ding Dong Dell because I've been kicked out of Ding Dong Dell, my homeland. Well,
I didn't know if you snuck back in and killed the rat.
I have not yet.
I don't even know if that's a thing that you do in the game.
I don't know. It might be, but no, I am still playing Ni no Kuni 2, and I am still. I haven't played as much in the last week. I haven't really played any games in the last week. What did I think I was just gone for something last week.
Well, it was Easter. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I had Easter and stuff.
More around family and stuff. So I played, I think, Monday and got to. I'm 4 hours in, so I've established the kingdom and I have the tents, and then now I'm in the forest. Try not to do spoilers, really, but the game is about getting kicked out of your kingdom, establishing a new kingdom, and trying to build that kingdom. So I've gotten that far, and I'm in the forest now, but have not explored the forest at all yet.
Yeah. So I'm probably maybe a couple hours ahead of you. Like I just got finished with the forest area, and I think I'm at the point where I've not done building my kingdom, but like I think I'm mostly done with all the tutorials for building my kingdom.
Okay, so you're kind of established, and you can move on to the next.
Yeah, I think, and some of the story beats kind of like the overall story beats kind of came back into play.
Mm-hmm.
But no, there's after the forest, you visit a pretty cool location, and I then setting up doing some of the tutorial stuff for setting up my kingdom. I don't know, I think it's kind of cool to have like all these different systems. So,
speaking of the different systems, what do you think of the battle? Like the war system where you have your troops, the skirmishes.
I enjoyed it. I've done 3 skirmishes now.
Okay.
And they're simple. But like I actually lost a skirmish. Because they get definitely pay attention to the levels that they suggest.
Mm-hmm.
Because they get very difficult. So I think that there might be some more strategy as things get difficult. But the first couple times, it's just super simple, and it just seems like I'm walking around and waiting for my guys to beat up on other guys. So
I've done 2 of them, the intro one, and then there was one on the way to the forest that I did. And I'm not big on those. I'm hoping that there aren't a ton of them. I can't imagine there will be. Because I like the regular combat so much. I just, even when I run around and see a bunch of lower level people, enemies, I run into them just because I like mashing buttons and throwing spells, and I like, I share, your comments last week about the story. I'm really surprised at the lack of cutscenes. Not even the lack of cutscenes, but the lack of audio. Even when it looks, the regular game, not when you're in the overhead map moving around, but when you're in the regular gameplay, I mean, it looks like a cartoon. And it looks awesome. And then you've got to read this little tiny size 3 font on the screen that only flashes up for 2 seconds. What the heck is going on?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and then it definitely looks like a cartoon or like an anime.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound like an anime or cartoon, because guess what? Those characters have voices and stuff. So, that's definitely still, it's kind of frustrating because it just keeps nagging at me as I play the game.
Yeah.
Especially when every once in a while they do like a cutscene and it's 2 lines of dialogue and that's it. And it's like, why did you even why bother at that point?
Right.
And I don't particularly care for when they are just doing scrolling through text, they just randomly say words that kind of are similar to kind of match up with what the text is saying, but I don't know. It's like your character could have this whole line of this paragraph about saying hello to someone, and the only voice line you get is a single hello.
Right.
And it's like, well, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's a weird it's a strange balance or something. I don't know what's going on with that, but overall, the game is fun to play. As you get closer to the forest and the game dips into twilight, the whole game is beautiful, but when it starts to get darker and some of the colors kind of start to pop at nighttime, it's a really pretty game. And the combat, the game is, for me, 4 hours in, it's really easy. I haven't come anywhere close to dying yet, which is okay. I'm cool with feeling powerful in a game, but I haven't run into really any challenge yet. And I've been trying out. I have 4 characters in my party right now: Roland, and Evan, the girl Tani. I don't know.
Tanny, yeah.
Tanny, and then her dad. Is it
Baku?
Baku.
I might be mixing up other Final Fantasy, because I think there's a Baku in Final Fantasy 9.
Okay, I think it's like Batu, but the leader of the pirates. And I like controlling all of them. I move around between them in combat, and it's a fun game, and that's kind of what I needed right now. So the other game I've been playing is on PS4 is MX versus ATV All Out, which came out last week. It's an arcade motocross game. If people have followed any of the coverage online at all, it's been riddled with bugs on the core PS4 and Xbox One systems. But if you have a PS4 Pro, like I do, or an Xbox One X or PC, the game runs mostly fine. And it's fun. I won't talk too much about it, but if you're interested in an arcade motocross game, it's pretty good. So, are you playing anything else other than Ni no Kuni?
It's really just been Ni no Kuni. I know it's a PlayStation podcast, but I haven't, and so we don't really talk about our other game systems as much. But I haven't even turned on my Switch in like 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It's really just been if I have 45 minutes or more, I'll sit down and play Ni no Kuni. Yeah. I don't like to play it in like really short bursts, but like 45 minutes to an hour, yeah, I'll hop on and play that for a little bit.
Right.
So that's really it for me. But yeah, everything you say, like all the gripes I have about Ni no Kuni, just like you, I still really enjoying it. It's a good game.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's that's good. I'm looking forward to.
That was just my alarm. It's time to wake up, guys.
I thought that was the beginning of Mr. Sandman.
It sounds like that. Yeah.
Mr. Sandman.
That just plays periodically in my house. I have it set up in my speakers to just randomly play.
I'm glad you know those the words to that song, because I couldn't think of what the next.
And the cutest that I ever seen. Bum 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 bum. Give him 2 lips of roses and cream. I think that's how it goes. Then let me have him till the night's all over.
Keep going.
No.
All right. The PSXP Barbershop Quartet, except we only have 3 people, but the Barbershop
Triplet?
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Reminds me of
Barbershop Trio.
Yeah.
Trio.
Yeah. Should we try to get in tune here?
No.
Sony. Close enough. All right, auto tune.
Gosh. Okay.
Now, any listeners?
I did it anyways. Do you guys respect it?
If we have any listeners, their eardrums are blown out right now. That's for sure.
All right.
We hit a hard A minor right there. Like, it was kind of like ominous Star Wars music. Like something bad happened.
Something
kind of
bad.
Thing. It was Sony.
Did happen.
I'm sorry. Please keep going.
Speaking of bad things happening,
Oh no!
Actually not. Actually, a very good thing happening. Spider-Man is coming out this year, and on PS4 exclusive to the PlayStation 4. And it is going to be the cover of Game Informer magazine this month. And actually, sometime today, Wednesday, after we're recording this, of course, they're going to put up the release date for Spider-Man, which I can only hope and assume is actually coming this year. Now, I have seen a date pop up, but I don't know how official it is, of June 22nd, which would be a Friday in June. That's about 8 or so weeks out from now, which is pretty much how far in advance they've been giving out release dates for God of War and for Detroit, and then now if that's the release date for Spider-Man, that could make some sense. So I don't know, that's a rumor that at least it's floating online right now. By the time people are listening to this episode, the date might be out there and it might be completely different. But how excited is anybody else excited about Spider-Man? Tyler, are you looking forward to that one?
You know, I have not played a Spider-Man ever since the one that came out for the Nintendo 64/PlayStation 1. It's been a long, long time. And I think I attribute that to the fact that I very, very rarely play Marvel games, like the movie games. You know, I know Spider-Man started off before it turned into, you know, the whole thing where big popular movies came out, but then they made games for it afterwards. Starting, I think Iron Man really kind of pushed it off, unless you want to count stuff like, you know, Superman and whatnot. But
yeah, there was a pretty. Are you talking about the movies or games?
The hard push where they started making the games based off of the movies that came out.
There was a pretty terrible Iron Man movie, or Iron Man game, not movie.
Sorry. I was gonna say,
yeah.
Don't talk about the first Iron Man. Usually,
the first Iron Man movie. I went to a drive-in movie theater to watch.
As you would in Ohio, yes.
To watch Indiana Jones, which is my favorite movie franchise, and that was the first movie playing. And then some dumb Iron Man movie that I'd never heard of was playing afterwards. And of course, the Iron Man movie blew Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull out of the water. It was awesome.
I know you really like Indiana Jones. I mean, is it a safe bet on your end that, I mean, which one did you like more? The Crystal Skull or Temple of Doom? Because I know you said, for the record, that you're not a big fan of the second one.
Yeah, Crystal Skull. I just can't. I can watch Temple of Doom, but...
Can you do the Kulema? Come on, Seth. Maybe you're just jealous.
No.
Maybe you since you don't know how to rip a man's heart right through his rib cage, maybe you kind of feel. Are you sure? Maybe no insecurity here.
I'm sure.
I'm talking on a personal level. The camera's off. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
No,
I don't like. I just don't like the tone of that one, and I know the tone of Crystal Skull gets goofy, but it's not the same kind of. It's a 50s sci-fi movie. It's not a 30s action Flash Gordon serial. It's a different movie. Anyway,
you know this one. I just want to know real quick. Which one has the scene where the guy is running around and he starts swinging his scimitars around, and then Indiana just pulls out his pistol and then shoots him?
Raiders, the first one.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, yeah. Fair enough.
So, anyway, Spider-Man coming out potentially June 22nd. Are you, Justin, are you pre-ordering Spider-Man?
I probably won't pre-order it, but I'll be playing it pretty soon after it comes out for sure. I'm pretty excited for it, especially because it's not a movie tie-in at all.
Right.
If I had heard that, then I'd probably be like, yeah, maybe not. But no, it's completely their own game, and it looks really good. It looks like a Spider-Man game. Yeah. I haven't played all of the Spider-Man games. I played some of them here and there. You know, I remember, I think it was Spider-Man 2.
Yep.
The video game came out in PS2, I want to say. And I remember that was like the first time you could like swing, like that was a very open world game, and you could swing from building to building across all of Manhattan or whatever, and that was awesome. I remember really loving that game. I think everyone's got really fond memories of that. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to do that in this game.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to it in June. One of the original rumored release dates was the end of September. So if it comes out in June, that's quite a bit earlier.
Yeah.
The March we have Ni no Kuni and MLB The Show, then God of War in April, Detroit in May, maybe Spider-Man in June. I mean, that's
one heck of a lineup, yeah.
That's a heck of a lineup. I mean, as slow as I think the beginning of this year kind of started compared to last year, this spring is crazy.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good year to be a PlayStation fan.
Oh yeah. Speaking of open world, actually, I don't know if it's an open world game, but is Mad Max an open world game?
I believe it is.
I don't know. I haven't started playing it yet, but this month's PlayStation Plus games are now available for download. The main PS4 games are Mad Max and Trackmania Turbo. I also, when I was on the store, saw a couple other games that are also available on PS4. 99 Vidas, which I don't know, a weird looking game. And then Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time.
Yeah.
And Cubert are also available on PS4.
Do you think, did you say it was 99 Vidas?
Yeah, Vidas.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I thought maybe they were doing a promotion where they were just giving away 99 Vitas for free.
This warehouse has to clear itself out. It's closing down. We're going to sell 99 Vitas just for $10.99 digitally. Yes, I can see that.
That's what I was thinking. But
looks like 99 Vidas is a 16-bit side-scrolling beat-em-up.
Oh, I've never played one of those.
Yeah. So I don't know.
All right.
Whatever. So anyway, I'm diving into. I want to at some point this month dive into Mad Max. I have played Trackmania Turbo, which it's a really fun game. If just kind of an arcade racer, kind of like a Micro Machines or a Hot Wheels kind of thing.
So it kind of sounds like. Yeah, I know. I'm very excited for both of these games. I always kind of wanted to play Mad Max, but just never bought it. So I will definitely check this out. Because I remember when this game came out, it came out in the middle of a bunch of other really good games.
Yeah.
So it kind of got overlooked a little bit, and maybe it wasn't like the best open world game. But I heard it has some really cool ideas, and I think it's got like kind of like that Batman Arkham combat style. Yep. I'm gonna try both these games out, but I'm definitely gonna Mad Max. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to Mad Max, and talking to Donnie on the Discord, and he played it at some point and talked about the car combat. And that there, I mean, I guess you get outside and you control Max, and I assume it's Max, I don't know, and control him running around a bit, but then there's also car combat. And I really like, whenever I think of car combat, I think of Twisted Metal 1 and 2 on the PS1. And I just love Twisted Metal 2 is one of my favorite games on PS1. That and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 are probably my two favorites. And if Mad Max, I know it's not a multiplayer car combat thing, but if it captures some of that attitude, some of that car combat style, I could find myself having a lot of fun with it. All right. So this month, April, is the...
It is April.
It is April. Is the 7-year anniversary, 7-year anniversary, of the great PlayStation Network outage of 2011.
Ooh, dark days. Dark days.
So we're gonna kind of revisit that a little bit and talk about kind of where we were in our own personal PlayStation journeys. I feel like I'm leading a PlayStation Gamers Anonymous meeting here.
Hi, Seth. I'm Tyler, and I have suffered for a PlayStation outage, but I've been free of them for 7 years.
That's actually not true. There are other PlayStation outages.
Yes, there was.
But this was the big one. On April 17th through the 19th, 2011, Sony, the PlayStation Network was attacked. I don't know if it was a DDoS attack or it was invaded somehow, and the people got credit card information and a whole bunch of stuff. And on April 20th, Sony shut down the PSN, and it was down for, I think, 23 days. Now I know, Justin, you had a 360. You didn't have PS3. Tyler, were you impacted by the PSN outage?
I believe what had happened at the time was this would have been me during college. Back earlier in 2011, I was playing the last throes of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, which was the last Call of Duty I was willing to play, I'm not going to lie. And my disc reader had burnt out. And so, long story short, my PS3 was crippled then, so I couldn't play it. So, no, I was not technically affected because Sony's hardware had failed me already, unfortunately. But I was there with friends and stuff, particularly my best friend Nick. He would love to play with it, and then during that period, I heard all about it. It was ugly, very ugly.
So, looking at you forwarded me this IGN article that was posted a year after the outage in 2012 that kind of recapped what happened here, and sort of setting up the attacks. In 2010, Sony removed Linux support from PS3, which I guess made some people angry. And somebody named George Hotz jailbroke the PS3 in January 2011 and was sued by Sony. Mm-hmm. And the stage, it says the stage was effectively set for a showdown with hackers. The hacker group Anonymous launched Operation Sony in April 2011, firing DDoS attacks against Sony-owned websites. Things appeared to die down when Sony and Hotz settled the lawsuit. And then it looks like on April 16th and 17th, hackers delved into PSN and Sony online entertainment servers, stealing personal user data and compromising credit card information. Sony detected something was wrong on April 19th, but didn't pull down the PSN immediately, and then pulled it down on April 20th, but didn't tell anybody what had happened for a week. So basically there were, and at the time, I wasn't really buying stuff online yet, so I don't even know that I had my credit card information in there. I don't remember, but there was a whole week that went by where people's credit card information was compromised, and Sony knew, and they didn't tell anybody. Which is kind of a big deal. On May 15th, the PSN came back online with a new firmware update. The outage reportedly cost Sony $171 million. It's a lot of change there. One of the maybe casualties of the outage from a game perspective is the SOCOM series. SOCOM 4 had just released right around the outage.
That's right.
Which
man.
is heavily dependent on online play and teamwork and all that. And basically nobody could play it for the first 4 weeks that it was out. Are either of you SOCOM fans?
No, but I wouldn't want to wish this on anybody.
Yeah. No, I was a big SOCOM fan on PS2, and I skipped PS3, so I never got to play SOCOM. I would have never gotten to play SOCOM 4.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's too bad that it looks. I think the developer of SOCOM, Zipper Interactive, ended up closing down about a year later. Which that sucks because it does kind of make sense. If you release a heavily online game and then for almost a whole month you can't play that game is just not going to sell. So
I mean, to be fair, they are also the same people that made Massive Action Game, if you guys remember that, Meg, where you could play with 264 other people kind of thing. And no offense, it didn't go as well as they were hoping to. I'm sure SOCOM would have been a better hit in the long run, but they already were putting nails in their coffin. It just fate decided that it was going to mess with them in a different way.
So that's kind of what was going on at the time. I don't remember exactly what I was playing, but I still primarily play single player games. And especially in 2011, I wasn't really doing too much with online stuff.
I just want to remember if this is correct or not. Is this the outage that they tried to apologize by giving everybody a free copy of Infamous?
So yeah, that's where we were. Where I was going next. They
my bad.
No. That's good. So as the servers came back online and PSN started again, they decided to give a welcome back program that gave everybody on PS3 30 days of PlayStation Plus, which at the time, I think at the time it really was just, it gave you some discounts and some extra things. They didn't have the PlayStation Instant Game Collection. They didn't have any, you didn't have to have it to play online. You just kind of got some extra discounts. So everyone got 30 days of PlayStation Plus. And then they also gave everybody 2 free PS3 and 2 free PSP games per account. So, like on my PS3, I have my account, and then my wife has an account, which she doesn't really use that much, but occasionally we play games together. So actually, we were able to get 4 games. I was able to get 4 games for free. So the free PS3 games that were available to choose from in North America were Wipeout HD, Little Big Planet, Infamous, Dead Nation, and Super Stardust HD. I believe I was trying to remember what I chose. I know I got Super Stardust, Infamous, and Wipeout. I'm not sure between Little Big Planet and Dead Nation which I chose, because I played both of them. But that was my first. That was really the first time I bought online or bought digital game, or didn't buy them, but played digital games, downloaded them, and that was my first time playing Infamous. So
I didn't know that there was other games besides Infamous that you could have picked from. I just heard about it afterwards in the aftermath, and I was like, "Oh man, now I got to pay $8 to play Infamous, and everybody else could have gotten it for free." It was very frustrating, but yeah.
So so that was really kind of kickstarted. I'm not sure exactly when the Instant Game Collection started with PlayStation Plus. If it was just later that year, but that was sort of the first time that games were given away for free online, and really, I feel like it kickstarted the PSN resurgence, or people really starting to get into the PlayStation Network and buy digital games. It did for me, which might sound kind of silly because it came about because of a hack.
Right.
I guess with the broader hacking and credit card information being out there, are either of you two wary about buying stuff online, or digital stores, things like that?
You think I would after moments like these, but this was, as we both agree, it was 7 years ago. I'd like to think that we have some minor steps, especially in consoles. There's websites out there that still, they're kind of willy-nilly about this, and then, of course, they end up on the news a couple of months later, and, they learned their lesson. Like, the two major places that I'm okay with keeping my card on credit at the risk of potential exposure would be PlayStation and Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because I know PlayStation and Nintendo are more than willing to own up to their mistakes in the long run. Maybe for the sake of credibility to their customers, but that's still the case. And to be fair, Nintendo wouldn't even let you save your credit information in there for the longest time anyways. No, I'm still happy to give Sony my credit card information, even after this. Whether or not it's a good idea is, well, questionable, but I still do it. I mean, the worst thing they're going to do is, raid my credit card information. I'm going to have to call my bank and say I need a new card, and then I got to play with cash for about 5 days. It would stink. I'm not going to lie, but
yeah, I think and today, I shop online a lot, and credit card information, honestly, that's kind of like the least of my worries as far as like online information about me, because most credit cards or even debit cards or any bank, they will see suspicious activity and they'll give you a call and be like, and they'll stop it.
Heck yeah.
And
if it's my gas off when I was in Ohio,
yeah,
I thought I was raiding my own card.
I've had I've had to call my company before I go out of town to tell them, hey, I'm gonna, if you see something, some weird, it's me. So, I don't think that's as big of a deal. And, so I'm sure people, but 7 years ago, people were probably freaking out.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It was a lot different back then.
Yeah. It was certainly interesting time. One of the, I was looking at the list of games that, were on PSP in other regions. In Japan, one of the free games that they could choose from was a game called "What Did I Do to Deserve This, My Lord?" It's a real-time strategy game.
Yep.
The game centers on creating mazes and monsters to help defend a demon lord from heroes seeking to capture him. The full name is Holy Invasion of Privacy, Bad Man. What did I do to deserve this?
Wow. I'm going to say that if that ever did get translated and move over, I'm going to have to say that it would probably get a less cool title, but man, somebody did right. Somebody in the marketing department for that PSP game did right in the title. They might get sued by, DC for the, holy Batman part, but, details.
So the sequels, what
Holy
did
Superman.
I do? What did I do to deserve this, my lord? 2, and No Heroes Allowed So No Heroes Allowed on Vita was technically a sequel to this game, and then there's a No Heroes Allowed VR that came out last year. So I guess I don't know.
Franchise is doing well, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. But what did I do to deserve this, my lord? Is a much better name than No Heroes Allowed.
Yeah, no kidding.
Anyway, anything else?
Oh, Badman, not Batman. It's
not Batman. Bad Man.
They did that intentionally, but it was a smart marketing move.
Oh yeah. Anything else from your reading or recollection of the great 2011 PSN outage?
I mean, the fact that it wasn't until 2007 that this was for 6 years running. Sorry, not 6. Disregard me. I was going to say this was probably it was the biggest information loss since 2007 before that. So
okay.
I don't know what was the next one after that. Maybe Target. I know Target was a big one later on.
Well, now anymore, it's every month. I know there was another pretty big PSN outage in 2017.
Was there? I must have missed it. What's going on here?
I don't know.
I do remember, there's been periodically time, like 24-hour periods, maybe.
Yeah.
where it's like I barely even notice because I'm not playing games 24/7. So, and and if there was an outage, there's a good chance that I wouldn't have been playing during that time anyways. So, and I don't play online as much. I mean, I play Call of Duty and stuff, but that's about it. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, 23 days is a long time.
Yeah.
So,
and anymore with as many games, in 2011, I'm not even sure the Madden Ultimate Team modes had started then. I'm not sure. But now, I mean, companies depend far more on that digital revenue than they did even 7 years ago. I think the digital revenue is as big or more for EA as selling games. So,
you're right. That is very important.
Yeah. Speaking of games, moving on to notable new releases. This week there are no notable new releases. It's at least for me, none that stood out to me. There is this one game called Minit, Minit.
You got a minute to win it.
Yeah, that's basically it. Do you know anything about this one?
Not at all. I was just making a joke. I didn't realize I hit the title's namesake purpose.
No, it's just funny because it's not spelled minute like the time minute.
Right.
It's a MINIT. But no, I have seen a lot of news coverage on this game. Weirdly enough, because it's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah.
I basically the premise is you have 60 seconds to complete the game. But I think what happens is you have 60 seconds to basically complete a task, almost like a top down, like an old school top down role playing game. Like
looks like Zelda.
Yeah. And basically what happens is you have 60 seconds, maybe go complete a quest, and that quest would carry over, I believe, to even if you do die, or certain things would carry over, or there's some weird system like that where you do progress. It's not like you're just constantly playing the exactly same thing, but that is the premise of the game. You have 60 seconds to do something, then you die. So
the town is cursed where every 60 seconds the day starts over. So it's like kind of like a Groundhog Day kind of deal. So it looks kind of interesting, but just I'm perfectly happy continuing to plug away with Ni no Kuni.
I'm watching the GIF that they pretty much posted about this game, where it shows essentially little things that he does every time he wakes up. Throws coffee in his mouth, grab a sword, kills a cow, and then runs into the mine, and then immediately dies as soon as he enters the mine. It's like, it feels like this is what WarioWare would have happened if it turned into an RPG.
Okay.
You just do this as quick as you can in this little period of time. And it's like, okay, sure. Well, I mean, played 60 seconds was okay, 8 out of 10. But I don't know. It could be fun.
Yeah.
Gotta give it a shot, man. Give it a shot.
We will see about that. And with that, we're going to end the show. It has been a good one. Hopefully we aren't horribly out of date on the Spider-Man stuff, and the actual date is what we talked about, June 22nd. We had no mailbag questions today. It could be because I never put out the call on Twitter yesterday, but
I heard a ding. Does that mean we got one?
No, that was me accidentally hitting a child's paintbrush against my mug.
Man, there's a lot of questions here. Okay, yes, sure.
So, if you do have any questions or want to interact with us, find us on Twitter at PSXP Podcast. You can email the show at psxppodcast@gmail.com, but I have forgotten the password, so I haven't been able to check that recently.
Ooh,
I should just reset the password. And you can find Tyler Vidito online at 2x Tyler.
Yes. I also want to point out that there's a very strong possibility that I'm probably not going to be on the PlayStation Experience podcast anymore anytime soon, just because of time differences between my work and the podcast.
Yeah. Yes, we hopefully we'll be able to still keep you around sometime. But I am very excited for you that about your job and that you.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Getting lots of money is great, yes. But I mean, there's some things that maybe I prefer not to sacrifice, and
yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, this is one of them. I really enjoy the podcasting. Unfortunately, it's just. I mean, I'll still be podcasting. It's just
it'll be
here,
elsewhere. But people can also follow some of your exploits on the Play Some Video Games YouTube, where you are uploading some new series.
Yes, as it is, it's April, so I'm getting prepared to what I promised was going to be the first episode of Simulation Showdown. Sims 4 characters of PSVG being pit to the death, where they got to complete, and this is going to be hopefully by sheer luck, them completing some tasks, and whoever wins gets to go on to the big house, and whoever doesn't gets to go to the Nintendo Shack. So,
all right,
it's unfortunate. I'm sorry, but there can only be one out of 4.
So you're saying the Nintendo Shack is for losers?
Well, I suggested in the video explaining the situation that they would have to go to the PSVG equivalent of hell, which would either be a Toys R Us at full price or the Nintendo Shack. So I suppose you could put it in that ballpark. Now, I just, of course, I love Nintendo Shack, but I figured it'd be funny. But whatever. Details. Okay. Yeah,
all right.
Backing out because I'm not going to get myself in more trouble than I already am.
And Justin.
I'm at Justin Pickard on Twitter, and I never use Twitter, so have fun following me.
And with that, we are going to sign off and go forth and play some video games. I should probably push the stop broadcast button at some point. So anyway, now you're playing with power.
This has been a production of the Play Some Video Games Podcast Network. Find more great content at playsomevideogames.com.